I would burn down everything I've created to keep you safe.
She never meant to catch his attention. Zaina Obi was nobody, just another waitress drowning in Seoul's neon underworld, serving drinks to men who looked through her like glass. But when she stumbled into the VIP room, carrying champagne and locked eyes with Kang Min-ho, the city's most feared crime lord, something ancient and dangerous stirred between them. He saw her, really saw her. And in that moment, watching her dark skin glow under red lights, her curves moving beneath that cheap uniform, Minho felt something he thought died years ago crack open in his chest and bleed. Welcome to K-fairytales stories, besties. Please like, share, and subscribe. The bottle slipped from Zaina's hands. Crystals shattered across marble. Champagne spread like gold across the floor. She dropped to her knees immediately, heart hammering, mumbling apologies in broken Korean. Her manager would kill her. These bottles cost more than her monthly rent. Around the room, men in expensive suits watched her scramble with cold amusement, all except one. Kang Min-ho sat at the head of the table, perfectly still, his dark eyes tracking her every movement like a predator studying prey. He wore all black, tailored so precisely it looked painted on. His presence filled the room with weight, with danger, with something that made her skin prickle with awareness. When she finally dared to glance up, their eyes met, time fractured. He didn't look away, didn't blink, just studied her with an intensity that felt like hands on her skin. Heat flooded her face. She broke eye contact first, fumbling with glass shards, cutting her finger. Blood welled bright against her brown skin. "Leave it." His voice cut through the room's murmur, deep and absolute. Everyone stopped talking. Zaina froze, hand hovering over broken glass. He stood, and she realized how tall he was, how controlled his movements were, how everyone in the room waited for his next word like their lives depended on it. "Leave the glass. You're bleeding." His Korean was crisp, educated, but carried an edge that suggested disobedience would have consequences. "I'm sorry, sir." She bowed low, traditional style, the way her Korean language teacher taught her. "I'll clean this immediately." I said leave it. He moved closer. She could smell expensive cologne, something dark and woody, could feel heat radiating from his body. "You'll cut yourself worse." One of his men appeared with a first aid kit like magic. Minho took it, dismissed everyone with a gesture. Within seconds, the room emptied. Just her and him and broken glass between them. "Your hand." He didn't ask, commanded. Zaina's survival instinct screamed at her to refuse, to run, but something in his eyes stopped her. Not cruelty, something worse, interest. She extended her hand. He caught it carefully, turned it palm up, studied the cut. His fingers were warm, surprisingly gentle for someone who looked like violence incarnate. "This will sting." He cleaned the wound with antiseptic. She hissed through her teeth. "What's your name?" "Zaina." Full name, Zaina Obi. His eyes lifted to hers. "Nigerian?" "Yes, sir." She waited for the usual questions, the comments about her skin, her hair, her accent. Instead, he just nodded, wrapping her finger with practiced efficiency. "You work here often?" "3 months now. Night shift. Why Korea?" The question was casual, but his attention was laser-focused. "Better opportunities than Lagos. My mother needed medicine. I send money home." Minho finished bandaging her finger, but didn't release her hand. "How old are you?" 23. "Too young to be working in places like this. Too young to be alone in Seoul." His thumb brushed across her knuckles. "Too young to understand what men in rooms like this want from women who look like you." Heat and anger flared in her chest. "I understand perfectly, sir. I'm not naive." His smile was sharp, dangerous. "No, you're not naive. You're desperate. There's a difference." He released her hand finally. "Clean yourself up. Send someone else to finish here. And Zaina, next time you serve my table, don't drop the champagne. It's expensive." "Yes, sir." She grabbed the first aid kit, fled. Outside the VIP room, she pressed against the wall, breathing hard. Her finger throbbed, her heart raced. She could still feel his hands on hers, could still see those dark eyes studying her like she was a puzzle he intended to solve. "What the hell just happened?" Her manager appeared, face red with fury. "Do you know who that was? Kang Min-ho. He owns this club. He owns half of Gangnam. He's killed men for less than spilled champagne." Zaina's stomach dropped. "And you're still alive, which means either you're very lucky or very interesting to him." Her manager's expression shifted to concern. "Be careful. Men like him don't show mercy, they show interest. And their interest always costs something." That night, Zaina couldn't sleep. She lived in a tiny apartment in Itaewon, sharing space with 2 other Nigerian women who worked various jobs around Seoul. They were asleep when she got home at 4 in the morning, exhausted and confused. She lay on her thin mattress, staring at the ceiling, replaying the encounter. The way he'd looked at her. The gentleness of his hands versus the danger in his eyes. The way he'd cleared the room with a gesture like he was God rearranging his universe. She touched the bandage on her finger, professional, clean, tight enough to stop bleeding but not so tight it hurt. A crime lord who knew first aid. The contradiction fascinated and terrified her. The next night, she returned to work with dread in her stomach. Please don't let him be there. Please don't let him remember me. Please let last night be a weird fluke. She made it through her shift without incident. No VIP rooms, no expensive champagne, no dark-eyed men studying her like prey. Relief warred with something that felt suspiciously like disappointment. On her break, she stepped outside for air. Seoul in summer was oppressive, humid, thick with the smell of food and exhaust. She leaned against the club's back wall, closing her eyes. Miss Obi. Her eyes flew open. Min-ho stood 3 feet away, leaning against an expensive car, smoking a cigarette. He wore dark slacks and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, revealing forearms marked with scars. "How did you know my full name? I know everything about everyone who works here." He took a drag, exhaled smoke. Zaina Obi, 23, from Lagos. Lived in Korea for 8 months. Student visa expired 3 months ago. Working illegally. Sending money to your mother who has diabetes. Living in Itaewon with 2 roommates. You've been watching me, protecting you. There's a difference. From what? From men who notice beautiful women working in clubs. From immigration. From your manager who sells information to the highest bidder. He stubbed out the cigarette. From yourself. I don't need protection. Everyone needs protection. Some people just don't know it yet. Why do you care? The question burst out before she could stop it. I'm nobody. You're not nobody. His eyes held hers. You're interesting. And I don't find many people interesting. That's not a good reason to stalk someone. I'm not stalking. I'm ensuring my investment stays safe. Your investment? He pushed off the car, moved closer. I own this club. You work here. That makes you mine to protect. I'm not yours. Zaina stepped back. I'm not anyone's. His smile was sharp. Not yet, but you will be. Before she could respond, he was gone, disappeared into an expensive car that pulled away silent as a ghost. She stood alone in the alley, heart racing, skin tingling with awareness and fear, and something that felt dangerously like excitement. Over the following week, Zaina learned what it meant to have Kang Min-ho's attention. Her manager stopped yelling at her. Other servers started treating her with careful respect. Men who used to grab at her suddenly kept their hands to themselves. Someone paid her overdue rent. When she confronted her landlord, he just said a generous benefactor wanted to help. She knew who. The gifts started small. A new phone appeared in her locker at work, top of the line, already activated, already programmed with 1 number. When she turned it on, a message waited. For emergencies, use it if you need me. No signature, none needed. She should have thrown it away, should have reported him, should have done anything except keep it charged in her pocket, feeling its weight like a promise. Then someone left an envelope of cash in her apartment, enough to cover her mother's medication for 6 months. The note inside said simply, "Your mother shouldn't suffer because Seoul doesn't value you properly." That night, she called the number. He answered on the first ring. "This has to stop. Why? I can't accept these things. I don't want your money. It's not about what you want. It's about what you need." She could hear the smile in his voice. "And you need help. Whether you admit it or not, this isn't help. This is control. Is it, or is it care? You don't even know me." I know enough. I know you work 2 jobs and still can't afford decent food. I know you cry when you think your roommates can't hear. I know you're terrified of being deported. I know you're alone in a city that doesn't want you." His voice softened. "I know what it's like to be invisible, to fight for every breath, to feel like the world would be better if you just disappeared. So yes, Zaina, I know you." The truth in his words hit her like a fist. "How? How do you know?" "Because I was you once. Before I became this. Before I built an empire from blood and fear. I was a kid in Busan with nothing, watching my mother work herself to death for men who saw her as furniture." He paused. "I swore I'd never be powerless again. Never let anyone I care about be powerless again. You don't care about me. You barely know me. Then let me know you. Have dinner with me. Tomorrow. 8 o'clock. I'll send a car. This is insane. Probably. But you'll come anyway. Why would I? Because you're curious. Because you're tired of being invisible. Because part of you wants to see what happens when someone finally sees you." He was right. God help her. He was right. "Okay. One dinner. One dinner." His satisfaction was audible. "Wear something comfortable. We're not going anywhere fancy." The line went dead. Zaina stared at her phone, wondering what she'd just agreed to. One dinner with Seoul's most dangerous man. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Her roommate Blessing walked in, saw her face. "What happened? I think I just made a deal with the devil." Blessing sat beside her. "The sexy devil who paid our rent? That devil?" Zaina nodded. "He wants to have dinner. And you said yes?" "I said yes." "Girl," Blessing's expression mixed concern and excitement. "Be careful. Men like him don't do casual. They own, they possess, they consume." "I know." "Then why?" "Because maybe I want to be consumed. Just once. Just to see what it feels like to be wanted by someone who could have anyone." The next evening, Zaina stood in front of her closet, panicking. Wear something comfortable meant what? Jeans? A dress? Something that screamed, "I'm trying too hard," or something that said, "I don't care"? She settled on dark jeans and a fitted top that showed her curves without being obvious about it, left her hair natural, falling in curls around her shoulders. Minimal makeup. If he wanted to see her, he'd see her as she was. The car arrived at 7:50. Not a flashy sports car, but something understated, expensive, bulletproof. The driver opened her door with professional courtesy, said nothing during the 30-minute drive. They stopped in Bukchon, the traditional neighborhood where old Korea still breathed. Minho waited outside a small restaurant, wearing jeans and a simple black shirt. He looked almost normal. Almost. Until you saw his eyes, saw the way he carried himself, saw how everyone on the street gave him unconscious space. "You came." He sounded genuinely surprised. "I said I would. Most people say many things. Few follow through." He gestured to the restaurant. "My grandmother owns this place. Real Korean food, not the tourist stuff. Your grandmother knows you invited me. My grandmother knows everything. She's terrifying." He smiled, and it transformed his face, made him look younger, more human. "You'll like her." Inside, the restaurant was tiny, warm, filled with the smell of home cooking. An elderly woman emerged from the kitchen, took one look at Zaina, and her face split into a delighted smile. She spoke rapid Korean, too fast for Zaina to follow. Minho responded, equally fast, then turned to Zaina. "She says you're beautiful, that I should marry you immediately before you realize you can do better." Heat flooded Zaina's face. I'm joking. Mostly. His grandmother likes you. That's rare." They sat at a small table. Food appeared in waves. Dishes Zaina couldn't name but tasted like love, like someone's grandmother poured her heart into every bite. Minho watched her eat with satisfaction. "You like it? It's incredible. Better than anything I've had in Seoul, because it's made with care, not profit." His grandmother's philosophy. Food is love. You can't fake it. They talked, really talked. He told her about growing up in Busan, about fighting his way out of poverty, about building his empire one brutal choice at a time. She told him about Lagos, about her father who died when she was young, about her mother sacrificing everything for her education, about the dream of a better life that brought her to Korea, only to discover Korea didn't want her. I'm illegal here, she said quietly. My visa expired. I can't go home. Can't afford to restart somewhere else. Can't do anything except survive and hope no one notices me enough to deport me. Minho's hand covered hers on the table. I notice you, and no one will deport you. I'll make sure of it. You can't promise that. I can promise anything. That's what power means. Using it to protect people who matter. I don't matter. To who? The world. Korea. Anyone. You matter to me. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. She should have pulled her hand away, should have reminded him they barely knew each other, should have protected herself. Instead, she laced their fingers together. Why? Why do I matter to you? Because when I look at you, I see someone fighting. Someone refusing to disappear even when the world wants you to. Someone with fire. He squeezed her hand. I don't meet many people with real fire anymore. Most people burn out or burn others. You burn bright. That's rare. That's precious. That's worth protecting. Later, he drove her home himself. Dismissed his driver, took the wheel, navigated Seoul's streets with easy confidence. He parked outside her building, a neighborhood that screamed poverty compared to his world. You don't have to walk me up. I want to. He opened her door, offered his hand. She took it. They climbed 3 flights of stairs to her apartment. Outside her door, the hallway was dim, narrow, nothing like his world. This is me, she said unnecessarily. Minho looked at her like she was the only thing in the universe. Thank you for dinner. For giving me a chance. I should be thanking you. No one's ever... She stopped. No one's ever what? Seen me. Really seen me. Not just my body or my skin or what they can get from me. You see me. I always will. He stepped closer. His hand came up, cupped her face. From now on, you're not invisible. Not to me. Not to anyone. I'll make sure of it. How? By making you mine. The possessiveness in his voice should have scared her. Instead, it sent heat flooding through her body. I'm not something to own. No. You're someone to cherish, to protect, to... He stopped, jaw tight. To love. Eventually. If you'll let me. This is crazy. Completely. But sometimes crazy is the only thing that makes sense. He leaned down, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His lips met hers. Soft, searching, gentle despite everything she knew about him. She kissed him back, tasting danger and possibility. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, his forehead rested against hers. I'm not a good man, Zaina. I've done terrible things. I'll do more terrible things. But with you, he paused. With you, I want to be better. Then be better. Her hands fisted in his shirt. Be better with me. I'll try. He kissed her again, deeper, one hand tangling in her hair. I can't promise perfection, can't promise safety from my world, but I can promise I'll protect you with everything I am. That has to be enough. It's enough. She pulled him closer. For now, it's enough. He left eventually, reluctantly, with one last kiss that felt like a promise. Zaina floated into her apartment, found Blessing waiting up. So? Blessing's eyes were huge. How was dinner with the devil? She touched her lips, still tingling. I think I'm in trouble. Good trouble or bad trouble? Both. Definitely both. Over the following weeks, Zaina discovered what it meant to be claimed by Kang Min-ho. He was there, constantly, not smothering, but present in ways that made her feel wrapped in silk and steel. Flowers appeared at the club, expensive, beautiful, always with notes that made her blush. Someone started stocking her apartment with groceries. Real food, not the ramen and rice she'd been surviving on. Her mother's medication arrived in Lagos, paid for a year in advance. When she tried to thank him, he just said, "Your mother's health isn't negotiable." He took her to places tourists never saw, hidden restaurants in Bukchon, art galleries in Samcheong-dong, late-night walks along the Han River where bodyguards followed at a respectful distance. He was teaching her his soul, showing her the city through his eyes. "You don't have to do all this," she said one night, wrapped in his arms on a bench overlooking the river. "Yes, I do. Why? Because I'm courting you. Old-fashioned, traditional." He smiled against her hair. My grandmother would be proud. Courting? In this century? Especially in this century, everything's too fast, too casual. I want you to know I'm serious, that this isn't just physical attraction, that I'm choosing you deliberately. She turned in his arms to face him. What if I'm not ready to be chosen? Then I'll wait. His hand cupped her face. I'm patient when something matters, and you matter more than anything. But danger still circled them. Minho's world didn't allow for softness. One night, Zaina was leaving work when a car pulled up beside her. Not Minho's, different. 3 men got out, surrounding her. You're the African girl, the one Minho's obsessed with. The speaker was young, cocky, wearing expensive clothes. Zaina's training kicked in. Minho had insisted she learn basic self-defense, had sent a trainer to teach her. She stepped back, hand moving to her phone. What do you want? To send a message. You're a weakness, and weaknesses get exploited. Before they could grab her, another car screeched up. Minho emerged like fury incarnate, moving faster than she'd ever seen him move. What happened next was brutal, efficient, terrifying. He didn't kill them, but by the time his men pulled him off, the 3 attackers wouldn't be threatening anyone for a long time. The violence should have horrified her. Instead, watching him protect her with absolute ruthlessness made something dark and primal stir in her chest. He turned to her, breathing hard, knuckles bloody. Are you hurt? She shook her head, unable to speak. Did they touch you? No. You arrived before. Good, because if they'd touched you, he didn't finish. Didn't need to. The promise of violence hung in the air. Take her home, he told his driver. I'll follow after I handle this. Minho! She caught his arm. His eyes met hers, still wild with protective rage. Thank you. Don't thank me for this. This is what I am. What I'll always be. I know. She pulled him down, kissed him hard. And I'm not afraid. That night changed something between them. The gentleness remained, but underneath pulsed something darker, more intense. They'd crossed an invisible line. She'd seen his violence. He'd revealed his protectiveness. And neither of them wanted to go back. When he showed up at her apartment the next evening, she opened the door and just looked at him. Looked at this man who'd somehow become essential to her breathing. Come in. He entered, closed the door, leaned against it. I scared you last night. A little. But not the way you think. How then? She moved closer. I was scared by how much I liked watching you protect me, how much I wanted you after, how much I want you now. His eyes darkened. Zaina, don't start something if you're not ready to finish it. Who says I'm not ready? I'm trying to be respectful, trying to give you time, trying to be better than my instincts. What do your instincts say? That I want to claim you in every way possible, that I want to mark you so everyone knows you're mine, that I want... He stopped. What do you want, Minho? You. Just you. All of you. She closed the distance between them. Then take me. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. He moved then, fast and controlled, lifting her, walking her backward to her room. Her small bed barely fit them both, but neither cared. What followed was intense, consuming, everything she'd never experienced, and everything she'd always wanted. Minho was demanding but careful, possessive but tender, taking her apart with patience and precision until she forgot her name, forgot the world, forgot everything except the feeling of being completely, utterly claimed. When it was over, they lay tangled together, breathing hard, skins slick with sweat. She expected him to leave. Men always left. Instead, he pulled her closer, buried his face in her hair, and whispered, "You're mine now. Completely mine. And I'm never letting you go. Promise? Promise." He kissed her shoulder. "You're stuck with me, Zaina Obi. For better or worse. Mostly worse, probably, given my life." She smiled against his chest, feeling safe and wanted and chosen. "I can handle worse." "Good, because worse is definitely coming. But we'll face it together. Together." She liked the sound of that. Outside, Seoul's lights glittered through her thin curtains, and somewhere in the dark, danger was already moving toward them. But in this moment, wrapped in Minho's arms, Zaina felt invincible, felt like maybe, just maybe, love was worth fighting for, worth bleeding for, worth risking everything for. She fell asleep listening to his heartbeat, steady and strong, a promise that whatever came next, they'd survive it. Together. The next morning, Zaina woke to sunlight and the smell of coffee. Minho stood in her tiny kitchen, somehow making instant coffee in chipped mugs look elegant. He'd put on his pants but nothing else, and the sight of him shirtless in her apartment made her heart stutter. Morning. He handed her a mug, kissed her forehead. How do you feel? Sore, happy, confused. All normal. He smiled. The sore will fade, the happy will grow. The confusion is permanent when you're with me. She laughed, sipping terrible coffee that somehow tasted perfect because he made it. What happens now? Now I take you to breakfast. Then I take you shopping. Then I take you home. Home? My home. You're not staying here anymore. Minho, I can't just move into your place. Why not? Because it's too fast. Too much. We just spent the night together. You're mine. I'm yours. The location is just logistics. Her phone rang. Her roommate, Zaina answered, listened, felt the blood drain from her face. What's wrong? Minho was beside her instantly. Immigration, she whispered. They raided the club last night. Checked papers. My name's on a list. They're looking for me. How long? 24 hours maybe. Before they come here, he was already moving, pulling on his shirt, making calls in rapid Korean. Pack essentials. 5 minutes. We're leaving. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. Somewhere they can't touch you. He cupped her face. Trust me. I'll fix this. But right now, we run. Within an hour, Zaina found herself in a private apartment in Gangnam. Security so tight it felt like a fortress. Minho paced, phone pressed to his ear, switching between Korean and English, calling in favors, making threats, moving pieces on a chessboard she couldn't see. She sat on expensive furniture, watching him operate, understanding for the first time the true scope of his power. He could make immigration problems disappear, could make her legal with a phone call, could bend soul to his will through money and fear and carefully cultivated relationships. It's handled. He sat beside her finally, exhaustion etched in his face. You're safe. How? I called in markers, made some promises, paid some bribes. The usual. Your visa will be renewed, legally this time. You're protected. She should have felt relieved. Instead, she felt trapped. What did this cost you? Nothing I won't earn back. Minho. She took his hand. What did you promise? Does it matter? You're safe. That's what matters. It matters to me. He sighed, rubbed his face. I promised cooperation with a rival organization, information sharing, territory concessions, things I would never normally agree to. He met her eyes. But you're worth more than territory. Worth more than pride. Worth more than anything. You're sacrificing for me. I'm investing in us. There's a difference. She kissed him, tasting coffee and exhaustion and something that felt like forever. The weeks that followed were strange, suspended between normal and surreal. Zaina officially moved into Minho's penthouse, a space so vast and expensive it felt like living in a museum. He insisted she quit the club, offered her money to pursue whatever she wanted. I don't want to be kept. Then don't be. Start a business. Go to school. Do whatever makes you happy. I just want you safe and fulfilled. What if what makes me happy is independence? Then be independent. With my support. He smiled. I'm not trying to cage you. Zaina. I'm trying to give you wings. Just wings with security attached. She started taking online courses, business management and marketing. Started dreaming about opening her own business someday. Something that helped other immigrant women navigate Seoul. Minho encouraged every dream, offered resources without smothering, gave her space while making sure she knew he was always there. But his world kept intruding. The men who attacked her were connected to the Nakamura organization, a rival syndicate that saw Minho's feelings for her as exploitable weakness. Threats arrived in subtle ways. Photos of her leaving the building. Notes left in places only someone with access could reach. Messages that promised violence if Minho didn't comply with demands. He handled each threat with cold efficiency, but she saw the toll. Saw him staying up late, phone pressed to his ear, orchestrating responses. saw the darkness under his eyes, the tension in his shoulders. "You're exhausted." She found him at 3 in the morning, standing at the windows overlooking Seoul. "Come to bed." "Can't. Not until I know you're safe." "I am safe. You made sure of it. For now, but they're escalating." He turned to her, and she saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. "If something happened to you because of me, because of what I am, I couldn't." He stopped. "I wouldn't survive it. Then let me help. You can't fight my battles." "Maybe not, but I can stand beside you while you fight them. That's not nothing." He pulled her close, buried his face in her hair. "You're everything. You know that? Everything I never knew I needed. Everything I don't deserve. Everything I'll destroy the world to keep. Then keep me." She tilted her face up. "Keep me and let me keep you. Deal?" "Deal." He kissed her, desperate and claiming. Always. The attack came on a Tuesday. Zaina was leaving class, walking to where Minho's driver waited when a van pulled up. She recognized the danger immediately, started running. Not fast enough. They grabbed her, hands rough, shoving her into the van. Cloth over her mouth, chemical smell, darkness rushing up. She woke in a warehouse, hands zip-tied, head pounding. 3 men watched her with cold amusement. "The pretty African girl." One approached. "Minho's weakness. Let's see how much he'll pay to get you back." She tested the zip ties. Tight. But Minho's self-defense trainer had taught her tricks. Never panic. Always look for opportunities. Always survive. They left her alone eventually, confident she was secured. Zaina worked the zip ties against a sharp edge of the chair she was bound to, feeling plastic cut into her wrists, feeling blood, not caring. Freedom or death. Those were the options. The ties snapped. She stood slowly, testing her balance, scanning for exits. 1 door, 2 windows high up, 3 men somewhere nearby. Not great odds, but she'd survived worse. Nigeria had taught her that. Seoul had reinforced it. Minho had armed her with skills. She just needed to use them. The door opened. 1 man entered, saw her free, swore. She moved, using everything she'd learned, knee to groin, elbow to throat. She wasn't trying to win, just trying to survive long enough. The man went down. She ran for the door. 2 more men appeared, blocking her path. She pivoted, dove for a window, glass shattering around her, landed hard on concrete outside, rolled, came up running. Behind her, shouts, gunfire. Something burned across her arm. She didn't stop, just ran toward lights, toward civilization, toward safety. Found a convenience store, burst inside. The clerk took 1 look at her, blood and glass and terror, and grabbed a phone. Minho arrived in 15 minutes with an army. She saw the convoy pull up, saw him emerge from the lead car like an avenging angel, saw the exact moment he spotted her through the store window. His face transformed from cold fury to desperate relief. "Zaina," he was through the door, pulling her into his arms, hands running over her, checking for injuries. "You're hurt. Just my arm. It's nothing. It's everything." He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. "God, Zaina, when I got the call that they took you, He couldn't finish, just held her tighter. "I'm okay. I got free. I ran. You escaped." He pulled back to look at her, something like awe in his eyes. "They had you tied up and you escaped. You're incredible." "I'm terrified. Me too." He cupped her face. "Me too. Every second you were gone, I died. Every second I couldn't find you. Never again. I'm putting a tracker in your phone, in your jewelry, everywhere. You're never being out of my reach again." She should have protested, should have argued about autonomy. Instead, she just nodded. "Okay, okay? That easy? After what just happened?" "Yes, because I don't want to be out of your reach either. I want to be findable. Want to know you're coming. Want..." She stopped. "Want to know I'm yours. You are mine. Always have been. Always will be." He kissed her hard. "And anyone who tries to take you from me will learn exactly how ruthless I can be." The warehouse burned that night. The men who took her disappeared, not dead, but wishing they were. Minho didn't tell her details. She didn't ask, just knew that the message sent was clear and absolute. touch what's mine, and suffer. But the Nakamura organization didn't back down. They escalated. Bombs in Minho's properties, attacks on his businesses, public challenges to his authority. Seoul's underworld teetered on the edge of full-scale war. This is because of me. Zaina watched news coverage of another explosion, another building damaged. Because they think you'll sacrifice everything for me. I will. Minho didn't even hesitate. I will sacrifice everything for you. That's the problem. Then let me go. Let me leave Seoul. Let me. He turned on her, eyes blazing. Finish that sentence, and I'll show you exactly how possessive I can be. You're not leaving. Not ever. Not for safety. Not for peace. Not for anything. We face this together or not at all. This is your empire. Your life's work. And you're my life. Full stop. Everything I built means nothing if you're not here to share it. He grabbed her shoulders. I need you to understand something. I would burn down everything I've created to keep you safe. Would walk away from power, money, respect, all of it, if it meant you lived. That's how essential you are. You're not a weakness. You're the only thing that makes me strong enough to want to be better. I love you. The words hung between them, said for the first time, carrying weight of truth. I love you, Zaina, completely, terrifyingly. I love you more than I've ever loved anything, and I need you to love me back enough to stay, enough to fight beside me, enough to believe we'll survive this. Tears streamed down her face. I do love you. God help me, I love you so much it scares me. Then let it scare you. Let it terrify you. He pulled her close. But don't let it make you run, because I'm not letting you go. Not now. Not ever. Promise me. I promise. She kissed him desperately. I promise I'm staying. I promise I'm yours. I promise. He kissed her back, lifting her, carrying her to their bedroom. Promises sealed in the only language that mattered anymore. The language of bodies, of trust, of absolute surrender. They made love like the world was ending, like tomorrow might not come, like every touch had to carry the weight of forever. When it was over, they lay tangled together, breathing hard, hearts beating in sync. Marry me. Minho's voice was rough against her hair. What? Marry me. Make it official. Make it permanent. She pulled back to look at him. That's the adrenaline talking. No, that's me realizing I don't want to waste another second not being your husband. He sat up, pulling her with him. I'm not asking because of the danger. I'm asking because you're the only good thing in my life. The only pure thing. The only reason I want to see tomorrow. Marry me, Zaina. Let me spend the rest of my life protecting you, cherishing you, loving you. This is insane. Probably. We've known each other 3 months. Best 3 months of my life. Your grandmother will think I'm after your money. My grandmother adores you. She's already planning the wedding. He smiled. She told me if I didn't marry you soon, she'd adopt you herself and cut me out of the family. Really? Really? So what do you say? Will you marry me? Will you be my wife? Will you let me be yours completely? She should have said it was too fast, should have been practical, should have done anything except throw her arms around him and say yes, 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 1,000 times yes. He kissed her, smiling against her mouth. You won't regret this. I'll make you so happy. I'm already happy. She kissed him back. I've been happy since the night you bandaged my finger and saw me, really saw me. Since then, I've been yours. I just didn't admit it. Well, now you're admitting it. He pinned her beneath him. Now you're mine officially. Now I get to call you my fiancé. Soon, my wife. Eventually, the mother of my children. She laughed, breathless. You've got this all planned out. I'm a strategist. It's what I do. He kissed down her neck. Plan, execute, succeed, and you're my greatest success. The wedding was small, private, just family and close associates. Minho's grandmother cried happy tears. Zaina's mother flew in from Lagos, overwhelmed and grateful and beautiful in traditional dress. They married at sunset in Minho's penthouse. Seoul spread beneath them like a conquered kingdom. Zaina wore white and gold, a fusion of cultures, a promise of new beginnings. Minho wore traditional Korean hanbok in black and silver, looking like a prince from ancient tales. When they exchanged vows, His voice was steady, absolute. I promise to protect you, cherish you, love you every day for the rest of my life. I promise to see you, always, when the world tries to make you invisible. I promise to be worthy of your love. Zaina's voice shook with emotion. I promise to stand beside you through everything. I promise to be your strength when you're weak. I promise to love you even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. They kissed as husband and wife, and the small crowd erupted in applause. Later, alone finally, Minho carried her over the threshold into their bedroom. My wife. He said it like a prayer. Mine. Yours. She kissed him. Always yours. They made love as married people, somehow different, deeper, weighted with promises spoken and unspoken. When she woke the next morning, she found him watching her sleep. What? He brushed hair from her face. Just thinking about how close I came to losing you, how many times you could have walked away, how lucky I am that you stayed. I'm the lucky one. No, I'm the lucky one. You saved me first. She touched his face. That night with the champagne, you didn't have to be kind. You chose kindness. You chose to see me. Everything else followed from that. We saved each other. He kissed her palm. That's what love does. Saves us from ourselves, from our past, from our loneliness, from everything that tried to break us. Outside, Soul woke to another day. Inside, two people who shouldn't have worked somehow did, bound by love that conquered fear, danger, cultural barriers, and every logical reason they should have stayed apart. 3 months later, Zaina stood in their bathroom, staring at a pregnancy test. Positive. Minho appeared in the doorway, coffee in hand, stopped dead. Is that? I'm pregnant. She couldn't read his expression. We're going to have a baby. The coffee fell from his hands. He didn't notice. Just crossed to her in 2 strides, lifted her, spun her around. We're having a baby. A family. Our family. You're happy? Zaina laughed through tears. Happy? He set her down carefully, hands framing her face. I'm terrified. Overjoyed. Overwhelmed. Grateful. So grateful. Thank you. For what? For choosing me. For staying. For giving me everything I never knew I needed. He kissed her softly. For making me a husband and now a father. For showing me that love is real. That happiness is possible. That monsters can be redeemed by the right person. You're not a monster. I was, before you. But you make me want to be a man. A good man. A man worthy of you and our child. He dropped to his knees, pressed his forehead against her still flat stomach. Hello, little one. Your father loves you already, so much, and I promise to give you everything. Safety, love, a world where you never have to hide who you are. Where you're celebrated for your mother's strength and your father's determination. Where you're free to be exactly yourself. Zaina ran her fingers through his hair, crying openly now. You're going to be an amazing father. I'm going to try. He looked up at her. Going to be better than my father was. Break the cycle. Build something good instead of just powerful. Our child deserves that. We all deserve that. Yes. She pulled him up, kissed him deeply. We all deserve that. And we're going to have it, together. 9 months later, Zaina went into labor on a rainy Tuesday night. Minho transformed from crime lord to anxious husband, pacing the hospital room, holding her hand, looking terrified. You're crushing my hand. Sorry. Sorry. He loosened his grip microscopically. Are you okay? Does it hurt? Can I do anything? Should I? Minho. She caught his face between contractions. Breathe. I am breathing. You're hyperventilating. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're panicking. I'm not panicking. Another contraction hit. He went white. Call the doctor. Now. The doctor's here. Look. A nurse smiled. First time father? Zaina gasped. How could you tell? 12 hours later, their daughter entered the world screaming. Perfect. Healthy. Beautiful with her mother's dark skin and her father's eyes. Zaina held her, exhausted and euphoric. She's beautiful. She's perfect. Minho couldn't speak, just stared at his daughter with wonder, with love so profound it transformed his face. Can I? Of course. She's yours too. He took his daughter with infinite care, hands shaking slightly. Hello, sweetheart. I'm your dad. I'm going to protect you forever. Love you forever. Give you everything. He looked at Zaina. Thank you. For her. For us. For everything. I love you. I love you too. She reached for his hand. My husband. My protector. My love. He kissed her softly. My wife. My salvation. My everything. Outside, Seoul continued its endless motion. Inside that hospital room, a family was complete. A crime lord reformed by love, a woman who refused to be invisible, and a daughter who would grow up knowing only safety, love, and the truth that sometimes the most dangerous man in the city could also be the gentlest father. 2 years later, Zaina stood in the doorway of their daughter's room, watching Minho read bedtime stories in Korean and English, their daughter curled against his chest. He'd stepped back from the underworld, gone mostly legitimate, keeping only enough involvement to maintain respect and safety. The past didn't vanish, but it no longer defined them. He looked up, caught her watching, smiled. She's asleep. Good. Zaina moved to the crib, helped him settle their daughter. She's getting so big. They grow fast. He wrapped his arms around her from behind. Speaking of growing, she turned in his embrace. I'm pregnant again. His eyes widened. Again? Again? She smiled. Apparently you're very effective. Apparently we're very lucky. He kissed her deeply. 2 children, a wife I adore, a life I never thought possible. How did I get so fortunate? You chose to be kind to a clumsy waitress. Everything else followed. Best choice I ever made. He pulled her closer. Best night of my life. Mine too. She kissed him. Even though you scared me, especially because I scared you. But then I loved you. And now? Now I can't imagine life without you. Can't remember who I was before you. Don't want to. You're my everything, Minho. My husband, my love, my home. And you're mine. He lifted her, carried her to their room. Forever. Forever, she agreed. In darkness and danger, in safety and peace, in every moment in between. Yours forever. They made love slowly, tenderly. A celebration of everything they'd survived and everything still to come. When it was over, she lay in his arms, listening to his heartbeat, feeling safe and loved and chosen. Thank you, he murmured against her hair. For what? For stumbling into my life, for dropping that champagne, for being brave enough to love a monster. You're not a monster. Not anymore. You're just mine, just yours, he agreed. Always. Outside their window, Seoul glittered with possibility. Inside, 2 people who'd found each other against all odds held tight, bound by love stronger than fear, deeper than danger, more enduring than time. From invisible waitress to beloved wife, from ruthless crime lord to devoted husband and father, their story shouldn't have worked. But love rarely follows logic. It follows hearts brave enough to choose each other, again and again. Through every trial, every danger, every moment of doubt, they chose each other, and that choice made all the difference. Their daughter would grow up hearing the story of how daddy met mommy, how a dropped champagne bottle changed everything, how love found them in the last place either expected, and she'd learn that sometimes the most dangerous person in the world could also be the safest, that monsters could be redeemed, that love conquered everything, even in Seoul's ruthless underworld, even between 2 people from different worlds. Even when logic said it was impossible, love found a way. It always did. For those brave enough to let it in, brave enough to hold on, brave enough to choose each other, over and over again, until forever became reality instead of just a promise. And they lived it. Every complicated, beautiful, dangerous, perfect day, together.